eating top ramen to being top rhymer, check full of commas.
Fast 5 is, as the title indicates, the 5th in the Fast and Furious franchise. You know what this one was for me? This one was the curveball. This was the real game changer of the franchise. It took everything that you knew and loved about the previous 4 films, flipped it on its head, turned it around, did a 180, a 360, and then sped towards the finish line, and it was a very satisfying race towards that damn finish line. You guys know the events of Fast 4. At the end of Fast 4, or Fast and Furious as they like to call it, Dom was arrested and sent to prison. He was about to serve 25 to life. We can't let Dom serve 25 to life. That's no fun for anybody. So in this movie, they break Dom out of prison, and then all of a sudden, all of them are fugitives. They're all on the run. And right off the bat, that just makes things so much more interesting for these movies going forward. It changes the status quo. It puts these characters in different scenarios. it pushes the envelope on what they've been through, and it basically turns all of them into criminals. Yeah, Brian has kind of spent most of the other movies dipping with his foot in, half out of the criminal underworld. No, in this one he's full on criminal, and he's okay with that, you know, because he gets to bang Mia the whole time. Who wouldn't want to be a criminal while banging Mia? So they're on the run, they're fugitives, and they get swept up into this high stakes heist down in Rio, Brazil. And there's this local douchebag named Reyes who like has a whole bunch of money. They get access, or they get information that allows them access to the money in his vault. And then they basically say, you know what, we're just gonna do one last big job. We're gonna disappear, we're gonna steal his money, and we're gonna escape. All the while, you've got Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson breathing down their necks like a fire-breathing, sweaty-ass dragon. And it really makes for a fun, entertaining, kick-ass movie, and for me personally, it's probably my second favorite of the entire franchise. Now, we've had a dabble of unrealistic stuff in the Fast and Furious franchise up to this point. I mean, there are stunts, and there's stuff that happens in these movies that you kind of step back and go, nah, that probably wouldn't happen. This is the movie where they finally just said, fuck it. They embraced it. They said, we're just gonna throw caution to the wind. We're just gonna have a whole bunch of unrealistic, awesome-looking bullshit happen on screen, and you're gonna be entertained for every damn minute of it. And guess what? I was entertained for every damn minute of it. This is the one that went full bore into blockbuster action escapism. If you look at the plots for the first 4 films, they did start to feel a little bit recycled and stale by the time the 4th one came around. You heard what I said in my previous review of Fast and Furious 4. I was kind of like, well, the formula's getting kind of stale now. Engine stalling out before the finish line. Maybe they should just stop this. If anything, the addition of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, as well as taking the story in new and exciting new ways and turning it basically into a huge action blockbuster instead of a street racing type of undercover deal, all of that combined to refuel that engine and push this franchise to the heights that it would never have gotten to otherwise. Like I said, instead of people going undercover and instead of people racing in the streets, I mean, there's still car racing in the movie for sure. For the most part, the story revolves around this big heist and about this big badass FBI agent who's chasing after them. All the characters that we know and love are back. Dom Toretto as the big, tough, bruiser, macho. I am family. We are family. Ryan is back, Mia is back, and they did the smartest thing they ever could. They took all the really cool ass characters from all the previous Fast and Furious movies, and they brought them all together. Some of these characters hadn't even met before this movie. We get to see Rome and Tej back. We get to see Giselle and Han. We get to see a whole bunch of characters interacting. Leo and Santos are back. Oh, we even see Vince from the first movie. Bringing these characters back into a movie, turning them into one big ass family. And again, this is the movie that kind of really started to hammer home that concept of family, 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 and then more family after that. It really works, and it really works because the cast is so much fun to see them interacting together. This cast has great chemistry. These characters all fit together. They all feel like they could be a part of a big unofficial family. Tez and Roman and their back and forth is really awesome. The first time they hook back up when they're in the garage, Roman goes, hey, when are you gonna give Martin Luther King Jr. his car back? And then Tez goes, as soon as you give Rick James his jacket back. I mean, you have great banter like that throughout the entire thing. And it's not just the characters that are awesome. It's not just the characters that are great to see back together with that charisma and that chemistry that we love to see, but the action sequences. The first 2 action sequences in this movie alone top anything from any of the previous 4 films. Seriously, it's badass stuff. I'm talking about the stunt with the bridge and the train. I'm talking about the chase on the rooftops in Rio where Hobbs is chasing after Dom and his crew. And so many great action sequences in this film. The way that they're shot, everything is in frame, everything is glued to the action. You don't want to take your eyes off of it. The sound editing for the action is really good too. I didn't think that I would single that out when I rewatched this movie, but rewatching the movie, I'm kind of like, man, the sounds sound perfect. It lends to the action so brilliantly, so when an explosion happens or when a car drives off a bridge or something like that, you really do feel it even more in the impact. Gotta talk about Hobbs for a second. Holy shit, The Rock? First of all, we all love The Rock, right? Probably the best new thing about this movie. I mean, this dude is a walking, talking, testosterone-filled sausage. Want a real sausage party? Listen to Dwayne The Rock Johnson in this movie. He sinks his teeth into every corny, cheesy-ass line, embracing the fun of the moment. They also embraced a lot of the silly one-liners that we hadn't heard a lot of before. There are so many silly-ass one-liners in this movie, and Dwayne The Rock Johnson probably has about half of them. I mean, the dude chews the scenery. He chews it with the ferocity of a starving cougar. Another thing I noticed about him is that he's always sweating in this movie. Why? I'm not really sure. Oh, seriously, I rewatched this movie. I challenge you to find a scene where Dwayne The Rock Johnson is not sweating or have some kind of liquid dripping off of him in some scene. Wearing this tight-ass shirt the entire movie, and it seems like the dude could really use some air conditioning. And he looks like he just got done racing Michael Phelps in the neighborhood pool. Just saying, something that you notice. It's weird. So many great iconic moments just from this movie alone. You have the great meetup between Dom and Hobbs. First time they meet up, and then Hobbs tries to flex on him a little bit, and then Dom is like, "This is Brazil." Then everybody pulls out their weapons. Great moment, and I love the fact that he said Brazil the way that they say Brazil down in Brazil. Hobbs versus Dom fight. I mean, that is just... holy shit. That is epic, man. I mean, that is Clash of the Titans type of stuff. Both of them got really good hits in. I mean, it was really gratifying to see these two big action stars just going head to head in a movie like this. There are several parts during this fight where Hobbs is kicking Dom's ass, and then there's other parts of the fight where Dom gets his licks in, you know, through sheer force of will and street savoir-faire. Then he sees Mia and his eyes light up like Chris Tucker on Christmas Eve, and he just goes ape shit. He goes ham. He gives Hobbs an uppercut that probably would have folded most men in half. That's one of the best fights in the entire series. Of course, none of the action sequences, none of the fights, none of the heist planning, none of the character moments, none of it compares to the finale. Oh my god, they really did it. They really went for it. Dom and Brian are dragging the vault full of money through the streets of Brazil with 2 cars. What? Look, after Fast 5, you have to come to accept that a lot of the unrealistic, over-the-top action is gonna happen. But in this finale, where they're just dragging this vault through the streets of Rio, they're crashing and destroying it. There's probably billions of dollars worth of property damage done here. I'm just saying, part of you just has to step back and go, wow, this is bullshit. But wow, does that look really amazing. I mean, even at the end where Dom is like, hey, Brian, leave me. And then he basically takes on an entire bridge full of Reyes and his criminals. The action, the stunt work, everything in this movie is mind-blowing. The characters, bringing all the characters from the previous movies back and creating this family-like atmosphere was really cool. Seeing the story take off in new and exciting directions, and Hobbs and all of his sweat-glistening glory was awesome in this movie. Yeah, I got to, man. I haven't given one of these ratings in a while, but I just have to, man. Fast 5, as far as Fast and Furious movies go, Superman Prime. So, you know that race in this movie with the police cars between Roman and between Han and between Dom and Brian? Be honest here. Do you think that Dom let Brian win like they said in the movie? You think Dom was messing with him? I don't know. I kind of think Dom was messing with him, but I'm not really sure. That's why I'm asking you guys. Please follow me on Twitter at SuperfanHM and follow me on Facebook. I'll put a link to my Facebook page down below. If you like what you see, tell me how you feel and stay tuned to hear more from the Man of Steel. Peace.